to say the modern is, you know, maybe from yesterday, but I'm on that way which I want to express to you today from 2000, so 18 years. It's quite old, the philosophy of such a way of skiing. So the title are proper utilization of the skis geometry for high quality and safe skiing. What all others, they are not properly, and so on and so on. So I try to do my best, and maybe in the end is the most important goal, ski teaching for skiing without scattering. I strongly believe, I don't know if it's correct word for the matter what it's happened most of us if the steep where terrain is quite steep and hard. We are in the end of the turn, lose the grip. It means scattering. And I try to get my everything to explain that way which can, it's also say safely prepare our clients to everything what is in front of them when they start skiing. Okay? So, welcome to my lecture. You know from where? No. Yes, for warm-up, Lindsey training consultant, World Cup Hill, October 2011. Please. No? First we just made a briefing and then I stop. It's good, fresh, hard snow. If you know all Selden, it's a glacier in Austria when last many years started World Cup races. So what I want to show you in this video, could you put it in the beginning? I take a command. I want to be a pilot a little bit. So when she turning, take care about this. I can say transition between rotating skis from the first part and then using ski geometry after that. We have some problems? No? Come on, Lindsay. Help us. I please you for a second, because it's quite important to very clear start it, what is our orientation later on. How you call this? What produce when we really turning on the edge? What is this? In my language, this is zavesa. That's not an ours. Anna Maria said.
It's curtain, but I think in English
Curtain.
it's probably different words.
So you know, especially it's famous when the water skiing athletes.
Yeah.
They
Spray.
made
Spray.
spray. Okay. It's quite a lot of them. It is bad or worst or good?
Bad.
Bad. Any other suggestion? If athletes made so big. Okay, we must close and then that's something.
If it's drifting before gates, then it's normal.
No, I think it's great. it's great. But it's what is the goal of such? It's necessary to be quite shortly, not all the way. I can say scattering and make the small one, not in the one, but it's very useful because it means that athletes can get a lot of pressure on the skis, and the skis make like waterfall. May I ready? Thank you so much. What you do now? How you call this position?
Attention.
Drifting.
Windows registry and performance scan is
Yes.
complete. Please resolve issues now.
You're talking with me? Yes, it's some kind of rotating, sliding, pivoting. Why? What do you think? Why?
Because the ski tips are facing already over the gate.
Yes, but why? Most of ski teachers and coaches said, hey, it's quite wrong. It's not carving. What is your opinion?
She will slide on sideways and then in the right moment will get the edges.
Exactly, that's my point from 18 years. But it's very less people agree with this. And so, why? What do you think why? Because they are too much fascinating with carving. Skis can do everything. Okay? But on top level, athletes special have some limits. Distance between the gates and everything, but get them opportunity and the right way of skiing, that they cut properly ski radium in a way they're sliding to the fall line or maybe a little bit away, and then from that position started using ski geometry properly. And here it's beautiful things that we can see very. So that's the start position. She started using ski geometry where? In fall line. Okay, now, not before. She's just passing this first part of the turn, rotating and sliding. Oh, super. Now she pressed quite a lot. And now, what she done? Just using ski geometry. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry for the word. So they prepare, started, finish, prepare again, from the fall line, a little bit away. Oh. Zašto nema desno? Ne mogu raditi lijevo desno ili to. Okay. Da. Okay, but it's a way which I want to. Okay, Lindsay, thank you. Okay, we'll continue. So, that's the point of orientation. All the time we want to use, in the end of the turn, what? Help of the skis. Skis have geometry. In the end of the turn, they are waiting for us to use as much as possible. But I now orientated to my prepare lecture. I think it's easiest for me and maybe also for all of you that I'm passing the lecture, and then I strongly believe that you have some remarks, questions and everything, and then later after my lectures we will try to find out similar or some new position especially for you. So it's a long story. At the arrival skis with pronounced geometry. At the beginning of the new millennium, most ski schools faced a great dilemma. I don't know if anybody remember year 2000 in that time. We have before skis long, when I compete, 210. Very narrow skis. And then I work also that time, I'll be a little bit in connection to the factory Elan. They produce now short skis, radium, 10 meters. It's another world. And not only ski schools, especially top athletes have dilemma, which which skis they can use in the new season. It's tricky things. Mario Mat started with short one. Matjaž Vrhovnik, he come from Slovenia, and he has injury in that year, and he started 3 months before all others skiing on those short skis, and so on and so on. So, how and what way to teach? Yes, it's, as always, it's decision of ski teachers. Learning just offer the exploitation of the geometry of the skis, be a driver or a passenger. Here is a picture from my skis. So it's quite new one, quite new GS skis, official Elan skis, old Elan skis, and slalom skis from Fischer, maybe 8 years ago. But you see the difference, especially in the end of the skis. It means with those skis, it's quite difficult to sliding and rotating. Why? Because they are quite narrow in the end. Yes, why they try to produce, my colleagues in factory, Jure Franko, but not these famous competitors, and Pavel Škofic, they produce these new skis, but the goals are of compensating the necessary ski knowledge and psychophysical skills for basically recreational skiers. Yes, normally for a better performance of terms. Normally, in the next step, generally on easier slopes, not on the steeper one. On easier slopes with decreased dynamic and speed of skiing. What is a big problem nowadays of skiing? What do you think? I think this. Speed of skiing. We are now together here almost 5 days. And most of us, because I'm part of ski teachers, skiing too fast. And they missed this goal which I want to set into you. So it's very normally then correct exploitation of the skis geometry always at the end of the turn. Are you agree with that position? It's really so important to using ski geometry in the end of the turn? Always. Normally we can use it also before, but in the end it's such important. For all. For our beginners and for Marcel Hirscher. It's the same problem, but dynamic. From one to another, it's a big difference. There's quite some dilemmas as always. How can we come with these new skills close to our users, namely recreational and professional skiers, and still not fully resolved? It's really so? Yes, strong believe me. It's really so. Especially in Slovenia, we are just close to everything. We just started maybe in one way I can call euphoria about everything. Hey, this is now really something so different and so new. Skis help us as much as possible, and the modern path of learning, usually subject to passive learning of exploitation, the geometry of the skis, too much too early. You agree with that? You know, too much too early? Yes, they didn't know skiing, but our skiers, our ski teacher said, no, it's so simple, just do this. Overall, it's really so easy. It's a goal. Yes, a small one. It's tricky, but in the question of knowledge and control and everything, it's quite very strange thing. And the classical part of learning, as a rule, disregarding different environment, carving skis, especially ski school in our neighbor country, in Austria. They are still way on that traditional way of ski teaching. A long time on old skis. Why? Because we prefer, nowadays ski teaching is very simply 2-3 days and they are ready for skiing alone. In Austria, this is a traditional thing. First week, you come to the basic level. Maybe next week, you go a little bit further. Okay? So it's quite simple, but just comparison. At least the first glance, they have accelerated the process of learning and mastering the necessary ski technique. We can agree with that. Yes, it's something new. It's maybe on the first a little bit easier, everything. But still, in the end, if that's really true, I say yes on the first glance. But later on, what also happened nowadays when we skiing, it's another word. At the beginning, this much needed new teaching methods took two very different parts. The modern, usual subject to passive learning of exploitation, as I explained before, too much too early, and the classical as a rule is waiting one more time. It's such important to be in the position of two parts. I work with some of really top athletes. I have a big privilege to be with top Croatian athletes, Ivica Kostelić, many years. For a little bit interesting things, I put some of my video skiing with him to relax you and maybe make everything a little bit comfortable for all of us. Yes, especially when I work with athletes, we skiing a lot in a different formation, and Ivica is growing in that way really much, and yes, it's a big pleasure for me. White formation. Okay, it's going down. Why formation? Any answer? Why formation in skiing? Yes, it's a necessary step after when we reach our knowledge and our way of skiing, when we decided about everything, when we turn, how we turn. It's the next step, skiing together with somebody and reach rhythm from outside. And for the athletes, it's the next step, settings. And this skiing information between the skiing alone and during the gates, it's quite and very useful in my work with them. Yes, this euphoria, I mean, because I'm the part of that, brought by these newly developed skis, which were generally too short. Some ski school forgot that the essence of safe skiing is still the optimal speed control. You agree with that? It's for sure so. They really forget how beginners control speed if they so passive use just ski geometry for turning. Making the full use of the ski's geometry in an overly passive way is similar to riding down the slide or driving a car without using the brakes. You agree? It's like that, or they have maybe some other equipment which I don't know how they can use to control speed. And letting the skis do all the work without the proper instructions was about all dangerous, unprofessional, and irresponsible. From whom?
As a teacher.
As a teachers. Why? Because they are in the beginning so fascinated with the skis, because they are a step forward, and all the clients, wow, see how they use, they reach the line behind, and wow, it's really goal. But it's really goal? No, it's not. It's fascination, but it's not the goal. Okay, this is not provocation, but we just have to slide about ski helmet. The use of ski helmet was one of the very few positive consequences of this new way of skiing. We all agree. It's much safer. There is no doubt if it's necessary or not. After all, passive protection is still better than non-protection. But from my position, I don't use helmet, but I don't want to provoke. But just to be in that way of orientation, which I want to express to you. However, it's even more important that skiers receive better and more comprehensive ski knowledge and skis. Do you agree with this or not? Any remarks? Because I want to be a little bit connected with you. Yes, I strongly agree with that. It's much better if I reach knowledge which get me opportunity to change direction on my way, or do stop, or control speed or something like that, that I just put helmet and okay, I'm safe.
Yeah.
Huh? It's not. Oh, again, it's. I just want to stop, but can you please say, if you can stop at the beginning for a few times. We just want to compare our ski form. You just start it and then stop. You see? Like to Peter or like to Ivica. Position of the poles, everything is on same place. And that is a response for whom? From skiers behind. He just must, and the goal are to copy my form. Okay. It means let them go, and again stop. You see? It's only one skier, not two, because where I am. So it's great. We just made this quite difficult. We just rotate it, okay? Stop. Not there something. Okay, I just want to say. Stop je ono što treba više pokazivati na engleskom. Okay, thanks. So, we're just talking on that matter before. Yes, but where the reason for that traditional ski schools try to keep too much too long on this phase? Yes, the effect of phasing a different and above all easier and faster way of acquiring ski knowledge and skills was exactly the opposite. They're afraid. They heard, come on, in 3 days, what we are doing next years, because if all clients reach so fast everything, so quick. And why did everything happen that way? It's, yes, from my strong position again, use of the ski geometry on skis which were generally too short. They just gave them something, but on the opposite side they less this traditional checking point. It means speed control and everything what is necessary. This is the good question. Was it easier for teachers, demonstrators? Yes. I'm so sorry, but it's true in the beginning. And is skiing today safer and more control? I hope that you agree. Definitely not. Why? Because of many things, but I have answer on next year. So two key elements that contribute to the procedures of all of modern and safe use of skis are the appropriately chosen ski length according to the height of the skier. I don't know, we are not agree with this 100%, but it means skis like in that length it's okay, and radius 15 plus, okay, maybe 17, maybe 13 for somebody, but it's even everything be in the way to compare about everything what can skiers done on the slope. It means control, speed, everything. Outlines of the path modern ski teaching techniques, including their most recognized characteristics, namely sliding, if you remember Lindsey Vonn, they are sliding in the first part and rotating, pivoting the skis, and clean endings of turns using only help of ski geometry. I have some picture. I'm so sorry for my techniques, but it's something new. So here is the end of the turn. I just sliding over the fall line, and then in the end, coming to the position which is very famous from the first beginning when we started teaching. How to come from sliding to using ski geometry, because skis are here and they say, come on, use me. And most of skiers which use skiing in high speed and so on, they are starting here doing what? Scattering. Why? Because they are not prepared well for achieve such high goal. To use properly help of the skis. And skis are made for that. Not for coming to the turn without sliding and rotating. They just be here very strong and useful for the customer. Again, come on. Okay, I thought it's last time. But can you stop again as much as possible? Okay, bilo je bolj pet, če smo bili jedan iza drugog. But it's okay. It's the same story. He just copied me or I copied him. It's very useful thing for adapt and full what I say to the athletes it's quite steep terrain here in Athens. They're just finishing all seasons here when almost in the end of March or in the beginning week in April. Just few. Okay, we continue going. So, how we enter in the turn? Sliding and rotating, and then we are finishing with trying for using everything what the skis can do. And the opposite side, now it's photo from another side, how can we come from sliding to using? It's not, but I think it's okay. It's working correctly. Yes, it's same, everything what they do, the name of speed and everything, to make clean turns at a lower speed. Especially this, remember, lower speed. This is the best way how can we reach that goal. Just skiing a little bit slower, and everything can happen alone. If we are skiing too fast, it's quite difficult. And yes, from everything, thus the acquired ski knowledge represents valuable assistance in achieving the highest possible standards in modern ski teaching. I strongly believe, and I hope you too. About scattering, this is maybe a little bit strong position, but I strongly believe it's true. There are not a lot of skiers who manage to come close to the set goal. What do you think? It's a lot of us to achieve this standard of skiing? I can say from 100 ski teacher here in INTERSKI Congress, but if we can imagine on the steeper path, on the practicing court, when we skiing a lot, maybe a little bit more in the morning, where it's quite hard snow. How many of us can come close to the goal which I repeated so many times, to end and finish in turn just with help of ski geometry? Very less, very less. It's not a number question, but it's very less. What the reason behind such uncontrolled, unpredictable way of skiing, often described as scattering? I hope that the scattering mean, but we just checked in the beginning, this is scattering. Or the word scattering I use for explain you for those things. First of all, we have to point out 3 negative characteristics of such uncontrolled making of turns. Excessive speed, we agree, yes, for sure. Overly difficult slopes, yes, but for whom? For us, not. But this is quite orientated things to our clients, what is their problem. And insufficient ski knowledge, yes, for sure. So it's necessary to stay with which knowledge they can reach on properly sloped level. Don't go too much, too fast, too steep, and so on. You know the place where I made this photo a few days ago? It's our skiing. It's way of skiing of our, because this is slopes which are close to the recreational skiers. And it's beautiful things. This is scattering in the end of the turn. It's scattering, what is opposite of the goal. And here it's beautiful sliding, but it's not my way of skiing. I just found this on the snow. And beautiful reaching and using ski geometry in the end. And that's the goal. How it's necessary to skiing. Because, okay, you know. If it's okay or not, I try to all the time find some cooperation with another thing. And driving a car through a curve, it's good for understanding, because on snow it's quite a lot of things very similar. I'm just reading. Unfortunately, when skiing, we are not equipped with the required support, brakes, power of engine, which would help us to create a predictable and safe environment before turning. You are all drivers? You agree with that? Yes, but when we skiing, we didn't have brakes and engine and nothing. If we miss this quite huge goal, it's not as fatal as on the road if we do not manage to successfully make a turn and therefore end on an airbrushless turn. However, it does not lessen the responsibility of skiers who, by skiing in such uncontrolled and unpredictable way,